Over the last 10 years, Dead by Daylight has seen some of the most interesting and fun techniques that I've ever seen in any game before. You have CJ Tech, Hill Tech, Dumb Tech. You're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about if you're a new player, and that's understandable, but that's what I'm here to explain. So sit back and enjoy the video. The famous CJ Tech. What is it? Well, the CJ Tech was first founded in 2017 by a creator named CJXCCVI. Now, there's two ways to do this technique. The first one is when there is a down survivor and a down pallet in the same spot. When a killer is going to break the pallet, you vault the pallet fast enough to the point where the killer's prompt is locked into picking up the survivor instead of breaking the pallet. Most killers forget that and they'll pick up, and then that's when you'll drop your flashbang after you vault the pallet, and if you don't have the flashbang, well, you'll vault back to the other side and you'll do your flashlight save. And then method 2 of this technique is the locker CJs. The locker CJs is where, it works the same way. There's a down survivor, the killer walks up, you hop into the locker, you hop out, the killer picks up the survivor instead of getting you out of the locker, and then y'all live to see happy ever after. The Hill Tech. Now, this is a technique that I want all of you new players to know. Yeah, y'all have to understand this technique like yesterday, because this technique is one of the most important techniques that newer players need to know. So how to do it? Well, when you are in an exit gate and you have a down teammate and the killer is also there, all you have to do is just heal your teammate, and each time the killer hits you, you and your down teammate get more and more distance towards the out of the gates. So just keep doing that until y'all are both out. And if you have to go down, that's fine. The FOV tech. The FOV tech is pretty much exploiting a killer's FOV and using it to your advantage. So when looping something pretty tight or, long, like using Shack as an example, you could, at the curve, at the end of Shack, you could do a 360 spin and, spin in front of the killer's face, and sometimes auto aim will make them, lock onto you in a previous time space, and they will just swing in the other direction, or they'll do a whole 360 sometimes and then swing and miss. So basically you have to use it when you think is best and play it to your advantage and play your cards right. But yes, that pretty much is the FOV tech. The FOV tech can also fall into the same category as a dumb tech, which we will get into later. Our next technique on the list here is the window tech. It's another survivor exploit, imagine that. And to keep it short and simple, when a killer vaults a window, they lose a couple of frames of collision. And a survivor can pretty much exploit that. They can run through the killer when the killer is mid-vault animation. So, obviously you could use that for mind games, fake directions, and do creative shit. But that's the window tech. I'm trying to keep it short and simple because it doesn't need to be overly explained, because it's just common sense. You know what I mean? When you're ever in a chase and you don't know what to do and you're running out of, distance, and the killer is bloodlusting off their ass, and you just spin around in a circle and wow, it managed to work. Well, that is the spin tech. That is a 360 tech. And it is one of the most satisfying things to do in this game, and it's, a last-ditch effort. And, one day survivors stopped holding W in a straight line and started, doing shit, and it managed to work. And something like that became such a big part of, Dead by Daylight's culture. And I think everyone has at least tried spinning the killer. If you're new and I'm sure you've even tried to go in weird directions to fool the killer, or go left or right, do that little swing move that newer survivors do. And, spinning the killer is, I would at least try it in every chase if you could, because you don't know if you're going to land it or not. Next up, we have locker techs. Now this, I mean, lockers in general just open up an entire new gateway to different fun you can have at Dead by Daylight, but that's a video for another day. I mean, most newer players think of locker as like a hiding spot. No, you do not want to use lockers to hide. Only in certain scenarios, like if you have that Nancy perk, if you have Iron Will from Jake, I mean, yeah, go for it if you think you can. But if you have perks like Head On, Deception, and Decisive Strike, then by all means, you can live in that locker. I won't care. But, I mean, there's, like we talked about earlier, you can locker CJ. I mean, you can force animations, so for some reason, sometimes when you hop out of a locker, a killer will check another locker beside you by accident. I don't know why it does that. I'm sure it's the same input. But yeah, that is locker techs in Dead by Daylight. A lot to play around with, a lot of counterplay. This next one isn't really a tech, but somehow it manages to work, so we're gonna call it a technique. It is the dumb tech, and basically the entire purpose of this technique is to do something stupid, and it somehow manages to work. For example, when stunning a killer with a pallet, you can fast vault back into them, and sometimes they'll like do a crazy ass like 360 spin and try to hit you, but if you just run it left to the right or anything, if it's possible, then most of the time they don't know what to do. And there's another way of doing this technique. I think there's a bunch, but once a killer breaks a pallet, you could run up and then crouch, and it looks like, I guess, you ran past them, and sometimes they'll like swing and miss, auto lock, etc. But this technique is so unbelievably stupid that it manages to work, so we're just gonna leave it at that. And there you go. Those were some of the most iconic Dead by Daylight techniques that still exist to this day. Some of them don't really work nowadays, like CJ Tech, nearly impossible to land. I mean, that's probably the only one on this list that is really difficult to kind of try to land nowadays with the adapting killers. But if y'all do want me to cover any more techniques in the future for a part 2 or a series, let me know down in the comments below, and I would be more than happy to do more videos on this. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.